I had an idea of how it worked.
Yeah.
And it's just it's almost embarrassing to say. I'm like, it's got to be like magnetic rope or something like that, right? And it wasn't until years later watching him lecture on it where he revealed the method. And I was like, holy crap, I've been wrong for like 7 years. Hey, what's going on? Nick Lacavo here, back with another top 10 list with my buddy Erik Tate.
Hey,
Erik,
Nick.
what's going on?
I'm glad to be doing another one of these.
I know, right? We're just going to keep talking about magic tricks.
Forever.
We get paid to do this. This is great. Anyway, we're going to talk about the best tricks that you can do at an open mic night or for a talent show. This is an awesome list of comprehensive tricks that are accessible to anybody.
Yeah.
So we're going to lay this out. But before we do, if you have any comments or thoughts about these types of effects, make sure you leave them below, and we'll probably talk about everything that we talk about in here in the description below as well.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
What makes a good open mic night trick?
An open mic night trick. Well, I think the first thing you need to do is figure out if you're going to be doing an open mic night or a talent show, it's important to figure out what the audience is going to be there, because obviously there's a lot of comedy open mic nights, and if you're going to go there, you need to understand you're in a comedian space. It's not a magic space, so check with the host beforehand. You don't want to make a big mess or anything like that, or have a lot of big setup, because with an open mic night, you may only have 3-5 minutes. Same with a lot of talent shows, 3 to 5 minutes, and then there's not going to be. You can't throw confetti everywhere.
No, you probably got to perform in front of the drum set, right?
You're not going to have. You may not even have a stand or a place for a case. You got to be able to walk up, do the trick, and then be able to put it all back in your pockets. Get rid of it, walk away. So I think that's just being very conscious of your environment, because a lot of the things that your favorite performers that you've seen perform on these shows, these are not going to be the kind of tricks that they would take, because they've got there's all kinds of complications in a show. Yeah,
they have to. It has to fit certain parameters that exist only within that. It's kind of unique in that sense that you wouldn't know until you go out and do it. And you should, right? Because open mic has probably been, for me, I'm sure for you as well, one of the more valuable things that I've ever made myself go do.
It's a great way to get flight time on a trick, because it's what we all want to get paid, right? We all want to be that hot, name in lights, $1 million checks and TV things. But at the end of the day, you can't get there until the trick has flight time in front of audiences. And open mics and talent shows are such a good way to be able to get up in front of those audiences over and over and over again.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll keep talking about why you should do them throughout this thing.
Yeah.
Because you really just should. If it's something that's been in the back of your head, man. But we'll, by the end of this, hopefully we'll convince you. Give us the thumbs up if you're going to go do your first open mic by the end of this. But let's get started with number 10.
Number 10, I think, is a no-brainer. It's the invisible deck.
Yeah.
Because the invisible deck is one of those, it's a great trick that's super powerful, so you can get a lot out of it, but you can also really dress it up with your own personality, your own presentation. You can do the sort of classic, hey, I've got an invisible deck of cards here, and throw it out into the audience. But I've even done it where I used to do this a lot in my shows and early at open mics, where I was trying to figure out who I was on stage. I would find someone in the audience, and I would look at them and I would say, hey, do you remember when you and I went to Vegas together? And I would weave this crazy story that I was sort of making up off the top of my head, And then we went to the Luxor and we rode carpets down the side of it and got chased by clowns over to the Treasure Island or whatever.
I've heard you do this before, yes.
Yeah, and I would do it to a person, or I would do it to someone over the phone.
That's right.
And I would where it was I was holding the phone up to a speakerphone, so the audience could hear into a microphone on someone else's phone that they had called. And then I would say, and to prove the story is real, you said no one's going to believe it. So here's a deck of cards, and I've taken one card and I've placed it in a different direction. Tell me what it is. Then that person says it. You go through the deck. You reveal the card, and it's just, it's a crowd pleaser, right?
Yeah.
And it's a great way to sort of build up a routine so that you can really talk through some stuff and perform, but know that the end effect is going to be great.
Yeah, the invisible deck's a great vessel for anybody to inject their personality into. And if you talk about the variables that within that setting, It's easy to perform with a stand-up microphone.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's probably going to come up a bunch here.
Oh yeah. If you're in an open mic, they're not going to have a nice lav mic or a headset. You're going to walk up and you're going to have a straight stand, or worst case scenario, a boom stand that is it comes up and then over here. So now if you want to adjust it up and down, it's like here. I mean, they're nightmares to deal with.
Right. So, but it allows you to stand in one spot and perform the entire trick.
Oh yeah.
Right. So you can throw the cards out, or yell at people, or on the phone. So yeah, it really fits well in that nice little 4-foot space that you got in your open mic night. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Great number 10.
Oh, absolutely.
Let's go on to number 9.
Number 9 it's a more recent effect. I first saw this at the Tricks convention. It's Fill in the Blank by the Other Brothers.
Oh, okay.
This is
I've seen this one. Yeah.
I love this trick for open mic nights.
Perfect open mic.
Yeah, because you do have the ability to get someone up out of the crowd, but also you learn audience management with this trick, right? Because you can get someone up out of the crowd. They have a very limited number of things that they have to do. They have to fill in the blank. What the effect is, I should say, is you introduce the concept of a Mad Lib to your audience.
Little games that you'd fill,
you'd pick a verb, and they'd say running, and you put it in here, and then you fill in those words in the story, and because they don't know the story, it becomes a very silly thing. But the Other Brothers have created this really interesting effect where they have somebody fill in a Mad Lib, and then it matches the Mad Lib that you have. And it's really clever. They've got a nice little script for it. It's a nice way to learn to handle an audience member, because the audience member isn't so involved in the trick and close to the microphone that they can say things, and you have to learn how to deal with it on the fly. They're sort of back here and away from everything else. But also, it's a very strong mentalism effect. I remember the first time I saw it, I was like, that's going in my show.
Yeah, it's like a confabulation almost, somewhere in that world.
But it's more difficult to do than others, because you do have to learn audience management, but it's really nice at an open mic or a talent show, because it's not something any other magician is going to walk up there and do. No one is going to, when you're going to get all kinds of bonus points for creativity in the room, because everyone's going to think, oh, this guy's doing some crazy nutso trick that doesn't make sense, with a really strong ending.
Well, I would love to get your thoughts on this, but any open mic night that I've ever been to, when I was performing magic, I'm instantly the different one there.
Oh, 100%.
Right, and while I don't choose tricks to fit the venue, at the same time, what I'm looking for is something like this trick, where there's going to be something amazing that happens, but what you've really done is broken up the room, where all of a sudden, what are we doing? We're telling a story now? What's going on? This is interesting, right?
Yeah.
It brings in that different dynamic.
Well, and that fitting a trick to a venue is really great, because once you understand the method in this, you can make your own Mad Libs.
It could be about the bartenders. It can be about whoever at the venue, right?
And it is done in such a way that you can have 4 or 5 different ones just in your back pocket, and then you can make it happen.
Yeah, so that's a good one. I gotta write that. We'll rewatch this video next time I do an open mic. Whenever that is going to be, that will be that should be on the list. That should totally be on the list.
It's a good trick.
Yeah, let's go to number 8.
Number 8. This is low on the list because it's now in my professional repertoire and it's become one of my favorite tricks. But it's silk to egg.
Silk to egg.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is.
Tell the audience what that is. I guess. I don't exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah. You transform a silk into an egg. I think. Do we need to?
That's basically it.
Yeah. It sort of starts out as like a sucker trick where you stuff a silk into your hand and then it transforms into an egg, but then you reveal it's a fake egg, and then the egg transforms into a real egg, and then you crack it open and there's a real egg inside. If you want the real work on silk to egg, you got to check out Dan Harlan in the Tarbell, because he goes so deep.
There's so many egg tricks in the Tarbell course.
Yeah, it's
there's the whole chapter or lesson on eggs and silks.
Yeah,
they had it backward, weird, and it doesn't matter. Anyway, yes, there's so much.
It's a great trick, and again, it ticks those boxes, because your audience is likely not going to have seen it unless they remember Lance Burton on The Tonight Show many years ago. It is one that can be done in one. You can do it without a stand. You could do it behind a standing microphone. It's really simple. It's a good manipulation effect, so you can really get the practice.
Slightly technical. It can be as technical as you want it, really.
Yeah. Because there's versions that are basically self-working, and there are versions where you've got to palm and switch and do all kinds of stuff. But another one that you can really plaster your own face run. You can really do it any way you want.
Well, like the standard routine of like kind of explaining to the audience of how it works. Man, that's like a great. It's a great template for presentations within the open mic format.
Oh yeah.
That type of thing works really well there. I think, especially at an open mic, and again, you're there to work on your stuff.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
for 8 people.
Right. Those people definitely have a thought of what a magician is, and they're thinking maybe you're going to get up there and make a dove appear or something like that.
Yeah.
But when you start doing stuff like this, where you're showing them this, and you just fool them a little bit, but then you crack them over the head with an egg. It's a great plot structure.
I know that when I was doing a lot more open mics, doing Silk to Egg always really engendered me to the comics in the room, the other performers in the room, because they were just like, what is going on? This is so strange. There's something about that.
There's something important about that. Again, you're there to do your own stuff.
Yeah.
But if you want to start to maybe make some friends, collaborate with some of the other performers, this is like a... Man, what would you call it? It's just something that everybody else can relate to.
It's definitely. I don't know what the word is, but it definitely is something that other people like.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that was number 7.
Yeah.
So we should probably go to number 6 because that comes after.
No,
7.
actually, that was 8. We're up to 7.
Okay, let's go to number 7.
Oh, something I know you like, Black Door.
Oh, I do like Black Door.
Yeah, our buddy Riccardo Berdini.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like Silk to Egg in that you can really put your own. Like, I'm talking about a utility device here that can be used to do like a which envelope, or you could do a bank night routine. But it's one of those, again, pack small, play big.
Yes.
Right? If I am going to do an open mic night and I want to do any sort of like prediction or like witch hand effect or a bank night routine, I know that I can grab a couple of Black Door envelopes and I can work on different stuff. And using that utility device, I can work out different routines. And if there's, let's say, when I used to live in Los Angeles, I'd hit 2 open mic nights a night, 4 or 5 days a week. So I'm doing 10 shows. But if I'd had Black Door back then, I could have been running different routines twice. I could be on my way to the next effect and used Black Door to work out something new, to find what it was.
Yeah.
It's a really versatile thing that you can use for all kinds of stuff.
Oh, no, Black Door, it's a utility envelope that can hide different, well, it's hard to explain exactly what it does without revealing too much. Head on over to Penguin Magic and watch the demo for it, I suppose. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. You know what I think another thing about it would be, it's kind of bulletproof.
Yeah. You're in a situation where like maybe the lighting's going to be not great, the sound's not going to be great, there's staging's not going to be great. You have no idea who can see what where, and there's just very little that can go wrong.
And you could invite, with a routine like that, you could invite conflict with your audience, right? And that's another interesting thing to think about when you're choosing open mic effects is, just the people you're going to be dealing with. Yeah. You almost want them to break you a little bit just so you get to learn it. But
how much conflict do you want in there? And you can really throttle that up or down with something like Black Door.
Yeah, Black Door would totally help you out with that. Yeah. All right, now we're on number 6.
Okay,
let's get to 6.
This is definitely something that you need to take a little more time with, but it's a book test. And it's a very specific book test, Word in a Million.
That's the one that you.
That's the one That's the one that I use, and the routine that I actually teach it in my Penguin Live Act is something that I worked out in open mics, and now is in my professional repertoire. But the reason I say Word in a Million is that it's sort of like Black Door in that it is a pretty bulletproof utility device that I can use in the context of this type of routine. And again, you're not going to be seeing a lot of people doing book tests. But if I wanted to do a book test and I wanted to work something out and make something that was very strong, but also was reliable, I would put Word in a Million in the back of a book and go to the open mic night and work on different routines with it.
Mentalism, especially in open mic, is going to be hard to do no matter what.
Yeah,
right.
It's going to be hard to do, but it is going to be better for that environment, because when you're doing some more like traditional magic pieces or comedy magic pieces, you're going to have more props. Whereas mentalism, you can work with a lot fewer props. So you have a more difficult performing challenge, but the prop management just becomes infinitely easier.
Yeah, I guess that's what I was trying to get at, is that if you are more of a mental performer, you would definitely going to want to start to think about mentalism routines that use something to hold, especially at open mic.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're up there, you're trying to maintain attention.
If you could use an interesting book, something that is, especially something that's like in the current cultural zeitgeist,
absolutely.
I can't tell you how many times I went to an open mic night and I saw book tests using the 50 Shades books or the Twilight books or the Harry Potter books, especially when they were like right there.
Yeah, I mean, all you have to do is just think about how you felt if you've ever seen a comedian talk about something that just happened that interested you.
Exactly.
Right? It's the same thing. If you bring out that thing,
Everyone,
they're in. I mean, they've been watching stand-up comedy for the last 40 minutes, and all of a sudden somebody's standing there with whatever, a Harry Potter book in his hand. Totally in, right?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
use that for sure.
Yeah.
Let's move on. We're halfway home.
Oh, yeah.
Number 5.
Number 5. So you are going to want to do this in an open mic night where you've got a stand or a stool. And a lot of open mic nights and a lot of variety shows, talent contests will have like a wooden stool that you can use. And you do need this for that. But it is one of my favorites, and it's definitely going to grab the crowd. Spaghetti al dente by Chad Long.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. You do love this trick. I love this trick.
It's so good. I will never forget the first time I saw Chad do this. Chad and I were working the Magic Castle together, and I'm working the close-up gallery, he's working the parlor, and my girlfriend comes up to me and she goes, "Have you seen the guy in the parlor, Chad Long?" And I was like, "Chad's great." And she goes, "Did you see the thing he does with spaghetti?" Because I didn't know it. And she saw his act 3 times that week, and mine only once. But I saw that and I was like, "Oh, that's amazing." And then I got home and I was looking up Chad on Penguin, and I saw he released it as a download, and I was like, "That's it, straight my act."
Yeah, it's such a good secret. Actually great open mic trick, right?
It changes their conception of what a magician is.
Well, it has that other element of it. I guess what it is you have a piece.
It's a piece that you have a box of uncooked spaghetti, al dente, shall we say, and then anyone can choose a piece of pasta, and then you take
pick a pasta.
Yeah, pick a pasta, pick any pasta, and then you break it into 8/16, 16ths, 30 seconds. You throw it in your mouth, you chew it up, you swallow it, and then with bare hands, you reach into your mouth and you pull it back out. It's completely restored, uncooked, and you can show it and then put it back in the box, which is so good.
Yeah, you know what this has got, especially for an open mic night as well, is the element of sound.
Yeah.
When you're chewing that spaghetti, being able to do that into that mic, right? Yeah. Again, using what you got. You want to be able to work on your own material, but at the same time use. If you can take advantage of the environment there, do it. Watching somebody eat spaghetti on stage, again, they're not at a magic show.
It's something that everybody has wanted to do.
Yeah.
Every time you go to cook pasta, you always take one and eat one uncooked one just as you're waiting for the rest of your pasta to cook. It grabs them right away.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea. I gotta make my own list here. All right, I'm excited. I have no idea what number 1 or 2 is going to be at this point, but give me number 4.
Oh, number 4 is the Vanishing Bottle.
Oh yeah,
I mean,
of course.
It's classic to the point that like everybody does it. But I mean, like there's so many jokes where you turn it over and then you turn it back and it's there and it's not there. I'm talking about like a Nielsen bottle or any type of like rubber or silicone bottle. I know Penguin sells a Vanishing wine bottle that I've used, and it's definitely one of those that. As magicians, we're so used to it. We're just like, oh, the Vanishing Bottle. But every time I do it for lay people, they're just like, where'd the bottle go?
No, you should never count out the Vanishing Bottle ever.
No. Yeah,
ever. And if you're trying to do an open mic for the very first time and do this one.
Yeah.
Do this one because
they're on your side. As soon as you crush that bottle and it's gone.
It's a strong effect.
It's very strong.
Very, very strong.
Especially like some of the newer bottles look really good.
Yeah, no, I definitely. And it's as long as you're not writing this trick off, because I know people do for some reason, and people do know it.
Yeah.
But I think it's not everybody. Not everybody. Yeah. Nobody in the room that you're going to be working is going to know this trick.
And there's so many good bits and comedy moments that
so many things to learn
Yeah.
from it. Bring that on stage with it because you'll be able to get a lot out of that trick. And it's not just vanishes.
No.
I still use this for an appearance that I do.
Yeah, you do.
I do a champagne bottle appearance with a Vanishing Bottle. There's a lot of great stuff.
It's super good.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Number 3.
Number 3 is it's super strong, and not just because Hobson does it, but the egg bag.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, egg bag is one of those things that we all want to be Jeff Hobson doing the egg bag, but you don't have to be Jeff Hobson doing the egg bag. You can learn the egg bag from like the Johnny Thompson version that Paul Vigil does and teaches. You can learn what Gazzo does on his live act, that he makes it into a powerhouse effect that he does on the street. But it's one of those routines where you can really, again, inject a lot into yourself. You can do it sort of in one. You can do it with someone, bringing someone up on it. You can do it with a mic stand right there. The lighting doesn't really matter.
Right.
It's such a strong routine. It's been a classic for years.
Yes.
And you, if you're gonna get into that, I realize that this is. You shouldn't do it if you're also going to be doing Silk to Egg. You shouldn't do that in the same show.
No, probably not.
But it's definitely, there's a lot you can learn from it. Even if it doesn't go into your professional repertoire permanently, doing it in a talent show or an open mic night, you're going to learn a lot from it. And that's really what it's there for you to do.
Yeah, any of these classic routines
Yep.
that you can do that are accessible like that are things that you should go do at an open mic night. I've not done the egg bag. That's one that's always been on the fringe list for me.
Yeah.
But I know that there's secrets in there that I'm not aware of,
Yeah.
you know, because I've never actually gone out and performed it. The Tarbell course, Every Trick in the Book, has like a dozen different egg bags that you can learn how to make at home, right? So Dan in that series teaches you all of that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, that's a great.
Yeah.
I mean, like bringing an egg again. It's just bringing an egg to a bar or an open mic. People are sitting there going, "What's going on?"
Yeah.
Right? Like you'll be a big hit, you know, and you'll learn a lot. So
Yeah.
There's only 2 left.
Yeah, there's only 2 left.
I have no idea what these are.
Oh, and they're 2 of my favorites.
Okay, number 2, give it to me.
Tossed out deck.
Oh yeah.
Now, tossed out deck, you do need to be careful with, because if you're in a bar, you want to make eye contact with that person before you toss the deck to them, because you don't want drinks going everywhere.
Yes.
But what you can do is you can get into it very quickly. Even though you're involving the audience, you're still sort of performing in one, because you're up here.
Yeah, you don't ever move, right?
You don't ever move. And the really nice thing is it adds texture to the show, because you have people standing up. And then you get that moment where they're sitting down. And there's so many good tossed out decks. I know that years ago, Penguin did a DVD with Gazzo on his tossed out deck that comes with a tossed out deck, so you can learn it.
So in the tossed out deck, of course, is a deck that you throw out to the crowd.
Throw it to the crowd, and then everyone's looking at cards. The people who looked at the cards, they stand up.
They like peek at it. Well, it's in a rubber band.
Yeah, it's rubber banded up so that when you throw the cards, they don't go all cattywampus. But then, they peek at the cards, and the deck comes back up to you, and then you can make a prediction, or you're going to read their minds, and you name the cards, and then the people whose cards it are, they sit down when they hear the card, and just everyone sits down. You can really set up some nice stuff with it.
And one of the moments that's really nice, especially for open mic, is when you possibly get one person's card wrong.
Yep.
Right. If you got like 3 or 4 people standing, and you say Ace of Hearts, 2 of Clubs, 7 of Diamonds, 3 of Spades, and 3 people sit and one person remains. You know, if you've spent any time in a bar room or a comedy club or whatever, just that the magician failed thing is a really fun thing to play with and learn how to understand.
Yeah, when you turn it around at that last second, they're super on your side.
Yeah, that works. That's a great illustration of that type of thing. Sad to say we're at number 1.
We are at number 1.
Last call.
This is something I'm working on. I haven't actually done it at an open mic, but I know that far and away, this is one of the strongest things you can do at an open mic. And I know he has taught it in a number of lectures, and I know it's coming out soon.
Okay.
Dan Harlan's Awakening.
Oh, well, the trick's awesome.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's the best.
It's the best 3-rope trick in the world.
Well, yeah. I guess. We'll just shut off now. We're not even telling what it is. We're done. Yeah. Not until you've done it at the open mic.
Oh no, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna do it at the open mic. I'm gonna do it at the open mic.
Tell them what this trick is.
It is Professor's Nightmare on steroids with a rocket ship shoved in its tailpipe.
Yeah.
It's essentially you have 3 different pieces of rope, and then you put them and you say you wish that you could make them to be all the same size, and then you do.
Yeah. It's. For magicians, we know this as.
We know it as Professor's Nightmare.
Professor's Nightmare.
But it has some great moments where the Professor's Nightmare seems to be in play, but then you yank that out from underneath them, and you teach them Professor's Nightmare, and then disabuse them of that notion.
And it's trick. You don't have to move.
Super visual. And I would not have included it in this list if I hadn't seen Dan lecture on it at Max conventions and sell it at a couple of the Max conventions. So it is out there, and you can get it.
Yeah, he does. Dan does sell it on his website, danharlanmagic.com.
Yeah.
You can get it. And so the fun thing for me, we've been doing the shows here with Dan for 7-8 years.
Yeah. I didn't know how it worked for the longest time.
I had no idea. He would come out, he'd do Professor's Nightmare, and I'd be like, man, his version's really good. I have no idea how that works.
Yeah.
And I had an idea of how it worked.
Yeah.
And it's just it's almost embarrassing to say. I'm like, it's got to be like magnetic rope or something like that, right? And it wasn't until years later watching him lecture on it where he revealed the method, and I was like, holy crap, I've been wrong for like 7 years. I mean, I never cared that much, but I just felt so dumb that I'd probably seen him do it 100 times, right? I had no idea.
It's one of the most, and you know me, I hate rope magic.
Yeah.
It's amazing that we can get any rope magic filmed in here when it comes in, because the camera stays on, but I shut off.
Yeah.
And it's a rope trick that I love. Yeah. And it's so great.
Yeah, I'm with you. I started performing it a couple of years ago.
And again, if you want to learn how to perform on stage and learn how to get beats and like where it is, if you take Dan's routine and learn it and study it.
Dan's stuff comes with scripts for you, ready to go.
So good.
You get a lot of credit for really not carrying a whole lot.
Yeah.
It's a really pretty magical routine.
Yeah.
Great list.
Oh, thank you. It's awesome.
Great list. I really hope if you've ever had any thought about open mics, this helps you out. It's been a valuable resource for not only me, but for you as well. I mean, I wouldn't be anywhere that I am today without being able to go mess around at the local open mic. So tell us where you perform your stuff down in the comments below, and if any of the tricks that you've performed at open mic made this list, let us know, or what tricks you're doing, let us know down below. We'll have links for everything that we discussed here is there as well. Thank you for watching. For Erik, me, and Penguin Magic, see you next time.